Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from OtherSalt3889 from the True Off My Chest subreddit and says, my wife is addicted to the gym and it's ruining our marriage. My wife is 30 years old and she's always worked out and been in shape. But lately, I feel like it's becoming excessive. She used to regularly work out at the gym when she was in college. At some point, she stopped going to the gym. I think lately just due to her schedule and preferred to work out at home or go for runs outside. About 18 months ago, she announced she was going to get back into the habit of going to the gym. She now had a job where she's able to make more time for it. It started off normal, but slowly became more and more frequent. She signed up for classes on the weekend, both days. She started going to the gym every day. And it became the morning before work and then again later in the evening. Every single day. If she's stressed, she goes to the gym. Experience some sort of life crisis, she immediately heads to the gym. We have an argument, runs to the gym. She's 4 months pregnant right now. I'm kind of surprised we even had time to make a kid. I understand that it's safe for her to work out, especially since she was already in the habit of doing it before she got pregnant. The intensity is not slowing down. If she misses one of her normal gym sessions, she becomes so irritable, like a junkie not getting her fix. It's just bizarre. Truly a case of too much of a good thing. Of course, she gets upset when I voice that I feel it's becoming an unhealthy obsession and that I miss spending time with her because she's there so much. She has all of these friends and this whole circle of people there that she seems to prefer spending time with over me. Why don't we work out together at the gym? The gym is her time, she says. This isn't a case of me feeling insecure because she's in great physical shape and I'm a fat slob. I work out and am in shape. My job really requires me to stay in shape, so I can't let myself go if I want to. I genuinely feel her gym habits are unhealthy. She's over-exercising for one. There is such a thing. But worse than that, I feel it's becoming a way for her to escape everything else in her life. She never actually fixed anything that goes wrong in her life. She just runs off to the gym to get some sort of mood boost and that's it. She also never gets anything else done in practical sense, because how can she when she's at the gym so often? It's to the point where I have to do every chore, and if food is getting made, I'm going to have to do it. I don't expect her to do all those things, but it should at least be a shared effort. People we know have even commented about it to me. They said things about how she seems different, how she sure is at the gym a lot, and many of her friends and family barely see her anymore. Some have even suggested she's having an affair with somebody there. Please tell me that this doesn't sound normal to you. She insists this is perfectly normal. So there was some comments which OP replied to. Man says, my guess would be that she is overwhelmed by life and that she escapes to the gym. She's probably always been a control freak, and now that life does things, she has a hard time not being in control. You are always in control at the gym. Same reason why bodybuilding attracts control freaks. OP says, yes, she is somebody who is overwhelmed with life, a very stressed out person. Somebody who is worried about everything. Her job is extremely stressful to her and she's been on the verge of true breakdowns because of it multiple times. They're actually the ones who told her she had to do something to deal with her stress, which was part of the reason she started going to the gym. Breck Preyline says, okay, the people thinking it's an affair is one thing, but I think it's more likely this. I saw this post and actually thought of myself at one point. I used to spend 3 hours at the gym over 2 sessions some days and run 30 to 40 miles a week. If I missed my run or someone changed plans on me, I'd be very annoyed and have to make it up another day, often overworking myself and just stress / can't enjoy things until I get my workout in. Based on what you said, I do think she is addicted to exercise and it is a real thing. I think due to her pregnancy and body changes, the gym and exercise is really how she feels in control. It's an obsession like OCD, if that makes sense, and over time she will need more exercise to feel that high. Someone says to OP, how long is she at the gym per session? OP says she leaves around 5 to 5:15 am, so in the morning around an hour or so. In the evening sometimes up to 2 hours. On weekends a few hours a day. People suggested that's like just far too much, and Opie replied saying, yeah, something happened to her back yesterday and she can barely bend over. It didn't happen when she was at the gym, she was just standing there getting ready to leash the dog up, and she said it felt like a muscle seized up. She's in pain, but she went to the gym today. Someone asks OP, what is she going to do after she has the baby? She can't go to the gym all the time with a newborn. Have you talked about that? OP says she's already checked and the gym offers childcare for babies starting at 6 weeks. She knows, at least I'm sure she does on some level, that she won't be back in the gym lifting weights for 3 days after the birth, but 6 weeks will be a challenge, especially since that seems to be a stress and anxiety coping mechanism, and we're in for a lot of stress and anxiety as new parents. And there was many different theories, like a lot of people were saying, oh, is she cheating? Which, you know, there's a possibility. We've seen it in other stories before around the gym scenario. Some people suggesting mental health, anxiety, etc. Other people suggesting possible eating disorder. Many people saying, you know, this is just too much. People relating it to themselves as well, saying, you know, they got themselves into a situation where they had to hit the gym every single day. My initial thoughts was that she's always sort of like been someone who's went to the gym all the time and sounds pretty proud of what she did. So, you know, when she got pregnant and changes in your body, etc., it's got to be a bit of a shock. So now it sounds like she's using the gym in an unhealthy way, an obsession. But like I said, I've seen many stories. This could go in all sorts of different directions. But OP updated the post and says, I posted not very long ago about my wife's addiction to the gym. A compulsion, if you will. She spends most of her free time there. She often goes twice a day and sometimes even 3 times if we have a fight at night and she needs to run off instead of actually talking to me. She won't let me go to her gym and she refuses to go to mine. Her gym is her place, my gym is my place, and that's just the way it has to be according to her. I'd love to have her come along with me. I've invited her multiple times. She's about 18 weeks pregnant right now. This is our first baby. She worked out like crazy prior to the pregnancy and she continues to just as hard now. I truly didn't think she was cheating on me. People suggested it in the last thread and I laughed. You can tell she's at the gym a lot. She's in great shape, so she's obviously going there. I felt really confident about the cheating issue, and when I posted 9 days ago, I wasn't even considering cheating. I'm embarrassed to admit that after reading a lot of the comments on my last post, I thought maybe I was being overly confident about her fidelity. She usually always has her phone on her, but she left it in the kitchen counter, and as stupid as I felt, I decided to do a quick swipe through her texts. She had a current text conversation going on with a guy. I recognized the name. The same name of a guy from the gym she mentions a lot. She's friends with a lot of people there. Went to one of their weddings last fall. I wasn't too terribly concerned until I started reading the text. Never wanted to know what the guy's dick looked like, but I know now. She was only out of the room for literally about a minute or two, so I had to scroll fast. I was furious. I asked her what the fuck that conversation was about. She started yelling at me for looking at her phone. I told her she's acting so weird and the gym obsession was really bothering me, so I just decided to look, and was ashamed that I did, but that I thought I'd find nothing at all. She said, it's nothing. Didn't look like nothing to me. Sure seemed pretty interested in this nothing. I wanted to know if she'd been fucking him, for how long. She kept saying no. I left the house because I was so furious, but not before I slammed her phone on the ground and shattered it. She was calling me all sorts of names for breaking her phone. She hit me on the back as hard as she could. I left, went to my brother's house. My brother and sister-in-law were shocked, although my sister-in-law was one of the most vocal ones about my wife's gym obsession being weird and bringing it up to me constantly. I went home. She was in bed crying. She obviously couldn't call me or anyone else for that matter. She was laying it on thick. I don't know if you'd ever come home. Give me a break. I took her phone to get it repaired tonight. She doesn't deserve it, but I still feel like an ass for breaking her phone. I still don't know how deep it goes. She wouldn't admit to anything beyond what I saw. Was it sexting, bad enough, or more? I'm convinced it was a lot more, but she refuses to hand over her phone and is now trying to act like I'm this terrible monster who is abusing her because I broke her phone. Not my proudest moment, but I honestly wanted to body slam her after she punched me. I've never and would never actually touch her like that. And I'll just give you a gist of the comments on that update because we have further updates as well. Majority of the people saying, you know, DNA test, STD test, and people suggesting that she's absolutely doing more than just sexting. But OP posted their next update and said, not sure if posting something in my profile will be seen by anyone, but I don't feel like making another update in a subreddit. Today, my wife asked me to stay home from work so we could talk. She laid in bed all day yesterday trying to get me to feel sorry for her. But I paid absolutely no attention to her and ended up leaving the house to go to my family's Super Bowl party. I wasn't in the mood to go out, but I wasn't going to sit at home with her. It really bothered her that I left. She kept texting me things like, who just leaves like that? When something like this is happening, who is that cold and callous that they just leave to go to a party? I stayed home today to talk to her. She was full of tears. She's so sorry. According to her, she really was going to the gym twice a day because she likes going there. That's where her friends are. Makes her feel good. It's fun for her. She met this guy there and he started flirting with her. Everyone likes him. He's one of the most popular guys there. I didn't realize there were popular people at the gyms. She admitted that she flirted back but didn't mean anything by it. She didn't reciprocate very much at first, but he gave her butterflies and she just found herself flirting back without thinking. She said it felt like when she had a crush on somebody when she was in school, when she was younger. They started texting. At first it was just friendly and nothing sexual for several months. But she'd feel giddy every time she got a message from him. She was really attracted to him, but told him that she was married and there could never actually be anything between them. According to her, he kept flirting with her anyway and said, sure, we won't cross the line. Until they did cross the line. She said she had tried to resist it for a while, but then one day they kissed. She admitted to enjoying it, but also feeling that it was wrong. She must not have felt that bad because she slept with him for the first time later that night. She described it like falling in love with somebody for the first time. All she could think about was him. Is she in love with him? She doesn't know. Is the baby mine? She thinks so, but there's always a small chance it could be his. He always uses a condom, so she doesn't think it's his baby, but they were sleeping together at the time she got pregnant. She loves me. She can't help that there's just this huge spark between the two of them. She doesn't know if she loves him. She doesn't know if the baby is mine. She doesn't know why she did this. She doesn't know what she thinks we should do. The nail in the coffin is when she said, you would really leave me if it's not your baby, would you? She had the balls to ask me that. I told her of course I'm leaving her and I wouldn't raise another man's child. She seemed shocked. She said, really? With everything we have and all of our history, you wouldn't even consider it? She can't be serious. I told her no, I would never consider it. She agreed to get a DNA test. She tearfully agreed, like I'm supposed to feel sorry for her about it. I don't know who this woman is. She was crying the whole time, but not tears of a shamed or sorry person. They were tears for herself and meant to try and make me feel bad. Feel bad for what? That her heart is apparently so torn. OP added some relevant comments below that one and said she ruined my life, but I just feel numb right now. I barely feel anything at the moment. It would have been bad enough for her to have an affair and cheat on me, but she couldn't have stopped when she found out she was pregnant. At least I could have walked away if it wasn't for this pregnancy. Maybe I still can, but I won't know for sure until I get some test results. She's almost positive the baby is mine. I'm stuck dealing with her forever then. My child will grow up with divorced parents. Then mum will be the gym bike. Maybe she'll even take off to live near her family and take my kid with her. Oh, but then she couldn't be near the guy who gives her butterflies and fucks her in gym changing rooms. The thrill, the excitement. How can I even blame her? She's ruined fatherhood for me, whether this is my kid or not. If by some chance this isn't my baby, I'm able to completely break free. How will I not think of this one day when I start a family? I was so fucking happy to have this baby with her. I was really excited, even though we hadn't planned for it right now. We have names picked out. I've been there for everything. Now she does this to me. Not only me, but this poor kid, regardless of who their father is. Opie says again, she's saying I'll never go back to the gym again. I'll never talk to him again. But she can't say whether she's in love with him or not. What kind of idiot does she think I am? Commenter replies saying she still thinks there is hope to save your relationship. Jesus Christ. Opie says, yeah, I believe she still thinks there's a chance I'll agree to raise another man's child with her. She doesn't take me seriously when I say there's no way I'd do that. She's dependent on me. She probably wouldn't leave me if I knocked somebody else up and wanted her to play mummy. I know that sounds terrible and it's nothing I'd ever do, but I feel she'd be mad and she'd go screw somebody else to get back at me, but she probably would be too scared to actually leave me. I don't feel the same way about her leaving. I'm sad to leave her. I don't want this to be our reality. I can't even say that I completely hate her yet, but I won't raise another man's child. If she feels so strongly about that guy and he's so wonderful, go get together with him then and leave everyone else alone. She was practically on her knees yesterday saying, I won't go back to the gym, I won't ever contact him again. I feel like that doesn't really mesh with the fact that she doesn't even know if she's in love with him or not. She obviously still has very strong feelings for him, which are probably coming from more between her legs and her actual heart, but doesn't really matter either way to me. I think despite anything to do with him, she's dependent on me in a way. Stability, maybe. Just out of comfort, maybe. We've been together since she was 20 years old. So I'm just this familiar person, I guess. She has her gym friends out there, but other than that, she has no family or friends out here. She makes pretty good money, but I make more, and all of our benefits are through me. Even with a good salary, it'd be difficult to survive on her own as a single mum here with all of the daily living expenses, or at least live anywhere near the level she wants to live at. Another comment from OP which says today is the day she was crying all night about how she's ruined her life. She seemed genuine, like reality is hitting her, but I didn't pay any attention to her at all. I just pretended she wasn't there. I did ask her if she'd get blood drawn for a paternity test. I asked her to please not hurt me further by keeping me in limbo about that for months. She said she doesn't want to. Information on if OP got themselves a lawyer and if he ever met the affair partner. OP says, I'm meeting with a lawyer next week and we'll see what they advise. How can she parade me around when I've never been allowed to go to a gym? I've met two of the people, a slightly older married couple. Yes, I met the affair partner. Last summer, he called her because he was drunk at a bar and couldn't drive home, so he called her to come get him. I didn't think it was a good idea for her to go pick somebody up late at night, so I went with her. I want her out of the house, but I don't necessarily want her to fly back home from where she's from just yet. If this is my kid, and she gives birth out here, I'll be in a much better position. If she leaves and goes home to her parents, she could very well be allowed to stay there, and that would be considered the baby's place of residence. She's missed a few days of work, but she hasn't gone to work since all of this happened. She was having a meltdown this morning and I left for work. She told me she had to go in late today, and when she got there, everyone was making her food and tea and stuff. She obviously didn't tell them what really happened. OP adds info on how long the affair was happening and said she claims they've been sleeping together since the summer. That's just what she claims, of course. Yeah, and I'll be taking that claim with a pinch of salt because OP's been trickle-truthed through the majority of this story so far, which is really sad to see. But OP adds another update and says, my life has been reduced to a trashy daytime talk show. The woman who was once my wife, who I considered a classy woman, has turned into a complete trailer trash. Today she announced that she's moving in with her affair partner from the gym. She's pregnant, might be his kid, might be mine. She's too embarrassed to get blood drawn for a paternity test. She spent about a week trying to get my attention, to get me to talk to her, to get me to beg her to be mine. I didn't fall for any of it. I've largely been ignoring her, and when we have to speak I keep it very brief. We've been living together this whole time, but I'm in a different room now and functioning separate from her in all ways. So her pouting and trying to get me to pay attention to her and give her a gold star for not going to the gym for 5 days in a row didn't work. Today she texts me to say she's moving in with him. Somehow, I still care about this person. I've already met with my lawyer though. I can care about her as a human being and possible mother of my child without being married to her. Still, it stung to hear her say she was going to be with him. I told her it wasn't a smart move to leave the house. I've even told her she should probably meet with a lawyer. She doesn't care about anything I have to say. I don't think she needs to move in with anybody. I actually feel bad for her that she can't just be on her own. I asked her if he actually knew she was pregnant and wanted to know what story she'd been telling him this whole time. She said he knows and he doesn't care if it's my baby. He loves her and wants to be with her. Bizarre. You can't find anyone else. Somebody who isn't a married, pregnant woman. Why would you take that on? It doesn't make sense to me. He's scum, but he's good-looking scum who apparently is gainfully employed and owns his own home. So you can't tell me that my married, pregnant wife is your only option here. I just can't imagine being a single guy like that and wanting to put up with this baggage when I could have other options. And if this is really my baby, I live with my wife and this weasel 50% of the time. I don't know how my life turned into this mess, and she thinks it's embarrassing to have to get blood drawn. Opie's next update says, my wife moved in with her affair partner last weekend. She didn't take very much at all. Most of her stuff is in our house. I still get the feeling that she was just waiting for me to beg her to come home, but I didn't reach out to her at all after she left. It was a strange mixture of relief, anger, and sadness. I don't think I ate at all until last night. Just never felt hungry. Drank a little too much, but I'm fine. I'm posting this update because I've received a ton of messages from people, and honestly it's emotionally draining to respond to each one and have to type the same stuff out. I just don't feel like talking about her that much. So this morning, she texted me to say her affair partner wants to get a DNA test done, so she's going to do it. Look at that. Didn't matter when I wanted one, but now he has requested it, she suddenly thinks it's a great idea. She asked if I wanted to submit a sample because it'd be cheaper to have 2 dads tested as part of one package. I don't even care about the cost at this point, I just want an answer. I didn't have to see or interact with them at all. I just had to make my own appointment with a lab to get my cheek swabbed. So this Saturday, I'm going to do that, and we should have the results within a week. I'll take what I can at this point because it's better than her dragging this out for another 20 weeks. So that's it, I'm fine. I'm going to work every day, trying to function. Just feel stuck in limbo. I miss her. Honestly, I hate that she's there with him. It makes me sick. Part of me does want to beg her to come home. It'd be even worse if I find out that's my baby and she's there with him, unless he drops her at that news. I won't let myself beg her. I won't play any of those games with her. Opie adds a comment about the paternity test and says, at 11 this morning I got the news that I'm the father. I feel incredibly conflicted right now. And people were suggesting that, maybe you should meet up and talk about the future and what that looks like for you and the child as well. Opie says we definitely need to talk, but I got the news in the middle of a work day, so I wasn't in the mood to have a full-blown conversation with her. I think I need to sort of wrap my head around the reality of it all before I say too much to her anyway. Next update. My wife has been having an affair with a guy she met at the gym for at least nearly a year. She's around 22 weeks pregnant right now. She was somewhere around 17 weeks when I discovered she was cheating. She maintained that she was positive I was the father, but then refused to get a paternity test done to ease my mind. We recently had a paternity test done, at the request of her affair partner, and it proves the baby is mine. It's been very mixed emotions for me, very up and down. Originally I thought I just wanted to be completely done with her and not have any lifelong ties in the form of a full-blown human being we shared. I was sort of happy or relieved when I got the results. I'd say I had it in my mind that I was going to be a father for months before I found out she was cheating. Sometimes I just have moments where I can't believe this is my life, that this is the situation that my kid will be born into, and I hate her for it. She's still living with him. All of her belongings are still here in our house. I refuse to do the work of packing everything up for her. She doesn't seem concerned about taking any of her things beyond the essentials. After we got news that I'm the baby's father, she texted me to say that she's glad I'm the father and that she knows I'll be a great dad. She was texting me new baby name ideas last night. She's tried calling, but I ignored the calls. I only speak with her via text. This morning she asked if she could come by and get a few things. I told her it was fine, and I've been advised by my lawyer to not prevent her entry from the home. But I told her that he better not be with her. So who shows up with her? The scumbag boyfriend. He walks right into the house behind her like it's no big deal. She ran upstairs to get the stuff she wanted, and he and I were just left standing there in the living room. He told me it wasn't her fault that he was there. She told him I didn't want to come, but he forced his way along. He wanted to talk to me, to tell me he understand how I must be feeling. No, you don't know. He told me he knows I probably don't believe him, but he genuinely loves her and knew he probably wasn't the father. He accepts it and then tried to assure me that he won't try to take my place with the baby and hopes we can just get along since we're both going to be in her life now. He promises that she's fine, he's looking after her. I told him that I couldn't for the life of me imagine what he wanted with a pregnant woman who's having another man's child, and I found it weird. And I told him if he didn't get out of my house, I'd punch him. I went upstairs and she was trying to find some things in the bathroom. I got mad and asked her why she brought him along, and told her I find it really strange that he still wants to be with her now, that he knows he has nothing to do with this baby, and that I refuse to let him have anything to do with my child. She said he talked her into coming and she's sorry and never meant for any of this to happen, but she's in love with him now. He is supposedly what 30-year-old her is looking for, not me. She's setting up a nursery in his house and I can set one up at my house and she has no intention of trying to get full custody or anything like that. She doesn't want to keep me from being involved in my child's life. How generous of her. She went back downstairs and I followed her and he was still standing there in the living room and I just walked up to him and punched him. He stumbled back and fell into a table. She yelled, "What the fuck?" and ran over to him. I don't even care at this point, and if he's going to call the cops, he deserved it, and it wouldn't have happened had he just left like I told him to. Several hours later, she texted me to say she was sorry about her day. He really meant what he said, and he's actually a good guy, and he cares about her and he respects me. What the fuck? He respects me. He was screwing my wife in the gym locker room. I was like, you can't be serious. She said, fine. I'm trying to have a mature conversation about this. I can't help that we fell in love. Believe it or not, I'm not trying to hurt you, and I want everything to be amicable. This guy stole my wife, and he's stealing my kid too. Sure, I'm the actual father, but now they're setting up a nursery together in his house. I've tried not to feel jealous or sad. I've tried to maintain the thought that he's the trash man who picked up my garbage. Sometimes I feel that way, but the truth is that I loved her and still love her. I don't want to stay married to her on principle alone, but this is devastating to me. And OP adds one more update and says, my wife is basically 26 weeks pregnant now. There actually hasn't been much drama with her and her affair partner. I was away for a long weekend last week and it was nice to just get away from home for a while. Only really annoying thing that's happened is that I'm being in the delivery room, not him. After everything she's done, she owes me that. It's not his baby. He has no right or reason to be there. I will not be the one waiting outside when my kid is being born. She said yeah, she agreed and never planned to have him in there with her. I asked her if she told him that and she said no. I told her to tell him that he'll have no part in it. Well, she told him and apparently he didn't like that and he started trying to convince her why he should be there. Next thing I know, she's telling me that he really wants to be there and she's the one giving birth, so she should be able to say who she wants there and she wants him there. I suppose you start making name suggestions soon and we'll try to overrule names we've picked out for our future kids for years. We've talked a little bit and she told me I can have our house and the dog in our divorce. I'm requesting that we sell the house and split the profit. I already had that written in the paperwork. I'm not buying her out of our house, a house that I've made all the payments on anyway. I have a much better credit score than her and less debt. I compromised a lot because she liked this house. I'd rather be able to get my own place based just on what I want with no reminders of her. And there was already no way she was getting the dog. I already had proof that I owned him though, so she wouldn't really stand a chance of having a court award the dog to her. It's the one thing I told my lawyer I wanted above everything else, not including any custody issues surrounding my actual human child. Honestly, her affair partner can have her, but he will never ever have my dog. Not to mention my dog is 100 times more loyal than my wife, and some might even say better looking too. So with the idea I won't be living here in the house for much longer after the baby is born, if everything moves quickly, I decided I will still prepare a nursery here anyway, in case anyone wants to try to accuse me of not being invested or prepared for fatherhood. I'm trying to look at the positives. It doesn't matter what colors she likes or what themes, I can do whatever I want. Honestly, we've been together for so long and have lived together most of our adult lives. It's sort of nice not living with somebody, but sort of lonely too. I have friends and family, but it's hard to feel in a good mood to go out or hang out with people too often. They always ask me about everything that's going on, and it's just like I'm tired of being the topic of conversation. I got a promotion at work, which financially would have been better had it happened after the divorce, but I'll take what I can get. I feel like I'm living in this limbo right now, and a lot of what I do is always framed around how will this affect me in the divorce. Admittedly, I spy on them on social media sometimes. Yes, I'm hoping to see he's been in a motorcycle accident or something now that the weather is nicer. Hasn't happened yet, but he's starting a new company, and once that's up and running, I can always get all my friends and family to leave 1-star reviews everywhere. I have to find ways to have a little fun. Sorry that I don't respond to a lot of messages or comments. Sometimes I just take big breaks from looking at Reddit since it can be depressing as fuck. Editing to add something I forgot. She told her family that we split up and that she's with this other guy now. Her sister reached out to me to say how sorry she was. Her sister is a dumbass, that sort of thing. She told me that my wife was complaining about her affair partner. She says the sex is over when he's done, and apparently he's really selfish with sex. He doesn't do extra things for her that she's used to me doing, like clearing the snow off her car in the morning and heating it up, or offering to make her food after a long day. He doesn't speak her love language, and he hangs out with his friends too much. This made me so happy to hear. She's secretly miserable. I find that absolutely delightful. As I was reading through those updates and, there was the chance and she was hoping to get back together with OP, it felt like she would have taken that option if she got it. And because, OP was so like, no, there's no chance we're getting back together. That's when she went back to the affair partner and decided to get with him like he's a second choice kind of thing. What an absolutely wild thing to go through though. It's just everything that's going on and the amount of time it takes, the weeks of pregnancy that we've seen in this one post, and every day OP's having to live that, think about the consequences of not just the pregnancy and their child coming into this world and what that's going to mean for OP, but also the affair and what he's been through with that situation as well, and also the divorce. And I know it's not the point, but all the little intricacies of that, like the paperwork that you got to deal with, the meetings, that's got to be absolutely draining. Like I said, I know it's not the main point. OP's been through an absolute ton by the sounds of it. But just thinking about the day-to-day life as well, it sounds really rough. But what do you guys make of this situation? And the affair partner turning up to his house and just walking in like that. It almost felt like he was enjoying that. I don't know. Something about that guy was just like, hold on a second here. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.